the thing last night that I thought was playing with matches next to kerosene, and that was his sort of dismissal of the Me Too movement in a way that made a lot of people uncomfortable. Take a listen.
Let's say I'm debating Pocahontas, right? I promise you I'll do this. I will take, you know those little kits they sell on television for $2? We will take that little kit and say, but we have to do it gently. Because we're in the Me Too generation, so we have to be very gentle. And we will very gently take that kit and we will slowly toss it, hoping it doesn't hit her and injure her arm. And we will say, I will give you $1 million to your favorite charity, paid for by Trump, if you take the test and it shows you're an Indian, you know.
I don't want you to get drawn into Elizabeth Warren. She created her own problem.
But he didn't make that joke without involving Me Too.
He didn't need to go
He didn't have to go there. That was my thing.
And that's where I'm curious, like, is that a bridge too far?
I think for a lot of women it is a bridge too far. I think there are women in suburban enclaves who did vote for him last time, who remembers the last time they were sexually harassed, the last time they were sexually assaulted, what happened to them in college. And that kind of thing, if it actually gets out and they're able to hear it, it's something that is going to go to the back of their brain. Does that mean they're not going to vote for him again? I don't know, but it is one addition.
It's very fascinating. He said Me Too generation. And it really resonated with me because you look at the polling and you look at the position of millennials and especially millennial women on Trump and the enormous deficit he has with them. Why did he choose to do that? Is that
you know what, that could be a tell? That's how his advisors are telling him it's the millennials. Don't worry about it. It's the millennials that don't like you. It's the millennials that care about you too. I don't know. But somebody handed him that piece of him. He grabbed that nugget. He merged Me Too and millennials together somehow.
But no sane political advisor, maybe I'm limiting the thing there, would have suggested bringing up Me Too.
Nobody said suggesting it. But if you're trying to explain away your gender gap numbers or explain it away, you say, oh, they're the Me Too generation.
I think this is the authentic Trump. I mean, he got off the teleprompter and he starts talking and showing who he is. But it's a bridge too far. I mean, he's boldly gone where no man has gone before. I mean, every time it's
no man in the 21st century has gone before.
No man who's been accused of assaulting and harassing as many women as he has in the 21st century.
In his world, it's about sensitivity. Like those sensitive liberals don't want to talk about this. I'm going to say that it's an unfortunate use of term.
That for his base, there is concern with the Me Too movement in the sense that they see that it's a form to advance political correctness. So he's talking to his base, clearly.
Talking to those men.
In Montana.
In Montana. The problem is he's not talking to anybody outside of his coalition. And if you're a Republican running for election this year, that has to have you a little bit nervous. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.